6 months after I got into this thing, Dr. Moseley-Hobbs, who was not a doctor then, showed up one day at Smithfield, and we made the connection. And about 6 or 8 months later, she joined our board. So Thomas and Othello are special to me, and I'm still working on that paper that I started 2 years ago. And I will finish it at some point. Dr. Quigley, the floor is yours.
70s, and it's interpreted for the most part as an 18th century home, but its significance to Virginia history, to US history, extends well into the 19th century, well into my own period of the US Civil War. And that's true in a number of different ways, and one of the ways is that the white residents, the owners of Smithfield and other members of the Preston family who own neighboring plantations, played a role in the politics of secession, in the Confederate military, and in Confederate politics. But on another level, this was also a transformative era, and really a more transformative era for the African-American enslaved residents of Smithfield and neighboring plantations as well. And that's what we're going to hear about tonight. And as Bill Foster alluded to just now, it's not the easiest of subjects to research. Simply because, well, for one thing, African Americans before freedom were legally prohibited from learning to read or write. They were defined as property rather than people, and so it was actually really difficult for them to leave much of a trace in the written record, much of their own perspective on historical events. So that makes it really difficult to research African American history during the period of slavery and the early years of freedom as well. Sometimes just figuring out the names of enslaved people themselves can be difficult enough. But that's why we all, I think, owe a debt of gratitude to tonight's speaker, Kerri Moseley-Hobbs. She has a PhD in the education field. She's made her career in higher education administration. But of course, tonight she's here to talk to us about her historical research and writing. I know she's going to talk about this book right in front of me at some point in her lecture. And she spent a lot of time researching her own ancestors, the Fraction family, who were enslaved at Smithfield and neighboring Preston family properties as well. She serves on the Smithfield Preston Foundation board, as we've already heard, and she's playing a central role right now in Smithfield's efforts to recover, to share the fascinating stories of its African American enslaved residents as well as the white Preston property owners. So I'm really pleased that she was able to speak with us tonight, to speak to us tonight. Let's give her a warm welcome to Blacksburg.
They were enslaved to Smithfield. You already know the idea of slavery. You already know what that entails. You already know the condition. You already know the oppression. You already know the terrible things that happen. You already know what happens in the Civil War. So what I'm presenting to you are people. What made them laugh, what made them cry, all the things they would have said and done once the Prestons left their presence. All of the things that people don't normally talk about. And when I set out to do that, first I had to do a lot of research about the regions of West Africa and the countries that they would have came from upon their enslavement.